We are now. So, good evening, everyone, and welcome. This is Twist Gaming, where you get to play board games with us. We are coming to you live here from our studio in sunny South Florida, bringing you some first impression session of our Spotlight stream. But first up, who are we? As usual, I'm Matt.
And I'm Josh.
And we are Twist Gaming. So, as I said before, this is our first impression session where we talk about our favorite aspects of the game, any constructive criticisms that we had, and then the most important question of the evening, would we play it again? And that is for the game we just spotlighted, which in this case, Helios Expanse by Greenbrier Games. So Helios Expanse is a 4X game, space exploration 4X game, that can be played in 1 hour or less. I don't think that there's a money-back guarantee, but you know,
we'll just make Julie have one now.
I'm not gonna
flash
say
it on
that.
The Kickstarter video.
But Helios Expanse is a shortened 4X space exploration game, so 1 hour playtime here, where we are trying to colonize this galaxy in a dystopian future setting where all of the colonies of Earth have basically launched into space. We live in these spaceships now, and we found this new solar system, and we're trying to colonize all the planets in definitely the most friendly way possible, right?
Yeah, friendly. My ship doesn't look like a pirate ship at all.
Yeah, mine doesn't look like a Star of Death.
Yeah.
So, Josh, is there anything you want to add about what this game is before we continue
it's a 4X
on?
game with a programming aspect to it. You pre-program all your moves, and you kind of play them out. So it's a little bit different there, too, is the pre-programming. Mm-hmm. It's pretty simple. A little bit, it's not really deck builder. There's just a deck you kind of sort through.
Yeah.
The only thing in deck builder is your damage goes in it, so it slows down your deck.
So you have to manage that aspect of it, make sure your deck doesn't get too bloated.
But it's mostly the pre-program thing. So yeah, that's about it for the game in general.
Yeah. So first up, we're going to talk about our favorite aspects of the game, and I will start off here just because I beat you. Julie actually was the winner of this evening. Julie beat us all really bad.
Yeah. So Julie from Greenbrier played with us.
Yeah.
And she
creamed us. Yep. So my favorite aspects of this game, I am a big fan of programming games. So I like the programming aspect here. It didn't feel too heavy or cumbersome either, which is definitely something that tends to happen on occasion with programming games, where you suffer from really bad AP. And I think a big part of that is that it's kind of rapid fire in that we're all taking turns going around playing a card face up. It's public knowledge programming with just one minor variant that allows you to hide a card once per turn, per round. But it keeps the flow going pretty fast, prevents you from really over-analyzing what you want to do.
Yep.
So big thumbs up from that. I'm going to pass it over to you, and let's ping-pong it back a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, no, I agree. I like the programming aspect, and it doesn't suffer from like you said, so like mechs versus minions, there's literally a timer.
Yeah.
So you don't have AP. Like this is fast-paced action. It was so fast, and you're pre-programming a little bit, but there's also reacting to other players.
Right.
And you could do a lot of things with your actions. They'll be like, oh, I was gonna do this, but they did this, so I can easily do this instead.
Yeah, so some of the actions were pretty hard coded as to what they were going to do, kind of like terraforming. But as you increased your science track and your military track, they actually opened up some more options. So you had a little bit more flexibility to kind of alter what you were doing on the fly or play it reactionarily to what your opponent did to you, like when Josh and Julie teamed up and blasted me into the corner.
Yep. Yeah, I like that. I like how the tracks, as you got up, you got kind of more cool stuff.
Yeah.
Though I lagged behind really badly in it.
Mm-hmm. I have to piggyback off that. I really did enjoy the fact that these tracks had, not only did they have improvements that you were getting along the way, but it was each step of the way was something else that was unlocked. So it's never that you got to a level and you're like, oh, nothing happened.
Yeah.
It's every one of them did something, and they range from increasing your movement from 2 to 3 or 3 to 4, increasing your hand size by an additional 1, and then finally doing additional actions within the action cards. Jumping back over here, one thing that we typically like to talk about here is quick reference guides.
I didn't even look at it.
I didn't think it needed it. I mean, we had Julie here to explain it, but it is nice to have these in front of us just in case. So we have a double-sided quick reference guide here that basically goes over what the turn order is and what the actions are. But again, I don't even think it was necessary, just because this game plays very fast and loose in the good way. So, Josh, anything else that you want to talk about?
I don't know how I follow up that comment, Matt.
Anything else that you want to talk about?
No, I enjoyed the game. We don't do a lot of 4X games on stream.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a while since I've played a 4X game. I enjoy them. It's been a while, and this was fun. The last 4X game we played was Tiny Epic Quest at BGG-Con.
I don't
forever ago.
Yeah,
you weren't there for that.
No,
so.
I don't remember the last time I really played a 4X game on the stream. So, and then jumping back, one of the other things that I really like and that I like to point out is unique player abilities. And this game allows you to play with unique player abilities here. So we've got different factions, and these are your different not colonies. These are your different groups. So they all have different abilities. So Julie was playing as Mars here. So she's actually got, basically, she's the warmonger. After any movement, if your military strength is greater than or equal to 5, place a colony cube at this faction's spaceship location if the planet is unoccupied. So it basically gives you some free colonization there.
I don't think she even used it.
No, I don't think she did. Mine was the sorority, so mine was pure defense. So instead of running away with the invasion cards, I could add 2 to my planet's defense. Josh was more of the science techie one, where you were...
When I reconned, I got the free move.
Yeah, so Recon's a card where basically you burn your opportunity to do an action in order to draw up some cards.
Yep.
And he gave him a free movement that he got to use immediately. So not only did it give him a movement on that, it allowed him to basically change up the entire previous flow of what happened in the programming.
I could be standing there and be like, I'm going to play a blast, so I could blast you. And I just be like, I'll play that Recon and I'll jump out of the way before that card even comes up.
Yeah.
Which was fun. And I got to do that a couple times.
You did. All right. So is there anything else that you want to talk about before we jump into constructive criticisms?
No.
Okay. So constructive criticisms, I'm going to let you start us out here because you usually have some really awesome points that I could talk a little bit more to.
First thing I'm going to go up into is, because this is my thing, I'm colorblind.
Yeah.
They did a good job with putting the
color
names in there.
Blue.
But the blue and purple cards looked identical to me. The red, green, and orange cards almost looked identical to me, just real quick. There is a thing there.
There's a designator.
This looks a little clunky. Can you just put that back up?
Sure can.
It looks a little clunky. Or the red one's not bad because it's a shorter word, but it looks...
Oh, because blue is here.
Yeah, and then look at purple.
This might not be final art.
It's not final. It's not final art, so I don't know what change. You picked colors of all. They all have a different first letter. You could just do P, B, R, and O, and G.
Oh, look at that!
And you can just do one letter and actually make it a little bit more colorful, and that would fix the whole issue. That's my tip to you guys.
That's a pretty good one right there.
Yeah, no, that's but yeah, colorblindness. I have some trouble with the red and green, the green and orange tokens. Now that I have the studio lights on and stuff, I can see them better. I was doing it a little bit darker.
Not a lot of people have the luxury of having 3 massive overhead spotlights shining on them when they play their games.
Yep.
So that's,
So that was my minor things. A couple of other things, the Ruse and Recon cards, the color on those are great. And those are easy to read, while the other cards you play are a lighter version.
Honestly, I don't see much of a difference personally. There's the border's a little lighter.
The border part, and the border looks identical to. So your purple card,
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Sorry, I'm not wrong on this one. I gave you that card. Those borders look almost identical to me.
Okay.
For ease of use kind of thing. It's not a big thing, and if you have the letter on top, it doesn't matter. That would make me happy.
If it makes you happy, it can't be that bad.
Yeah. But no, there was that. The other thing I had, it was just the start to the game, was I kind of got screwed on training and research.
Yeah.
There's only 11 cards and you draw 7 of them. So you don't draw 4 cards.
Right. So the one thing is there is the Recon card, which allows you to update one of those stats as well.
Yep.
But in the very beginning too, it's kind of
Yeah. So first one, I only had one of them.
Yeah.
And I think I reconned, and I think I happened to grab the second one. The second turn, so much stuff was going on. I didn't have the cards in my hand, and I couldn't waste the recon to get them. And it was like a bad start, just bad luck.
Mm-hmm.
But like I could see that being somewhat common. That's not. It's not fun. Like when you guys jumped me on both tracks, and you guys got the 3 on like turn 3.
Yeah.
And they could do doubles. And I was on turn.
Yeah, that's the one thing is it
4.
ramps up really quick once you get to the 2 doubles there.
And I understand some games are like it's your own fault for not doing it, but like I couldn't do it. That was like my biggest gripe was I got stuck on the tracks, and then like once you guys already jumped me and the points was whoever's in first, like I didn't care. And it also made my invasions completely pointless because I was so far down the track because I had like 2 bad draws.
Yeah, you couldn't deal up with the military.
Yeah, and it's not it's just something to help with that. I don't know
what that would be. That
I don't know what
mechanism
that
is.
would fix it. That was just the small issue I saw.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed the game still. I had fun with the game. It's not that I didn't like it. It just if that was someone's first game, I could see them not wanting to play again because of the bad luck, and it just doesn't work out for you.
Gotcha. So my main criticism here is going to be I wish that the damage cards did a little more. I get the that this is a lighter type of 4X game and it's meant to just clog up your queue, but if you have a maneuver, you can get rid of basically all the damage that you would take in a turn.
If you drew all your damage cards.
Yeah. So that was a interesting issue that I was having where I wasn't drawing any of my damage cards, so I couldn't jettison them. Yeah. But at the same time, like I was still drawing good cards, so it didn't bother me.
But like think like that's -1 points where a game was 12 points that won.
That's true. Yeah.
Like -1 points is a lot.
It is significant.
It's a very big swing in the game.
I think that's what it was. Is that when I was playing it, I wasn't necessarily. I didn't have that in my head that the -1 was that much of a debilitating factor. But yeah, as you're right, as the game played on, I think that did affect it more. I know what so I would like to see more interaction with the military stuff. Maybe if there was a card or ability that allowed you to get kind of like a plus to your attacking when you're it's hard to say, but like I felt like I was just solely relying on what the tracker was, and if someone was significant, like if Julie was ahead of me, and I didn't have my military card, basically that was a round where I knew I wasn't going to be able to attack her or try to invade one of her colonies. You know what I mean? So maybe if there was like one modification card, I would have appreciated that.
I'm just actually trying to think. So you spend your first 3 turns doing research, right?
Yeah.
So you get the 3.
Mm-hmm.
Then after that, you skip 2. So
yeah.
That's 1, 2.
1, 2.
How do you get above 7?
There might be other modifiers. I'm not sure. I haven't had a chance to look into that much.
Yeah, I was just curious if there was another way to.
I did like the fact that the invasion lets you kind of run away, so you have to be more strategic with the placement of your colonies.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of going to make you want to put your colonies more into a central grouping as opposed to off, in the back by itself, just because all of a sudden you're going to be able to get cornered and shoved off.
Yeah. The weird thing is, like, if you go off in that back spot, like, it takes more movement to get there.
Yeah.
And you would think it would be more strategic to put it there, but it's not.
Yeah.
Which is kind of weird. But it's not a huge...
No, I don't think that's an issue. I like that. I was just jumping back into that because it came back into the top of my head. But I don't think any of the criticisms that I have make the game debilitating for me. I enjoyed playing it a lot. I think that I could see where your one gripe would be about if you get off to a slow start in terms of military and technology, that it could be slightly frustrating. But at the same time, it is a shorter game too.
Yeah, it's a shorter game, so it's not. It's just I know games that give people that bad start.
Yeah,
and it's abnormal game, typically, not your normal game.
Yeah.
And it's just something to be cautious about. Because I know people who've been turned off by games just because the first time they played it, something like that has happened. But I still only lost by a point. Like
you did. Yeah, it was
wasn't
close.
far off. Like it wasn't a big issue.
So all things considered, you did fine on the point scale.
Yeah.
So is there anything else that you need to say before we get into the most important question of the evening?
No.
Okay. So as I said, most important question of the evening, would you play this game again? Josh.
Yeah. This would be... I'm really curious to see how this plays with more players.
Yeah.
So I know... I'm going to do a big board swipe, Matt. Can you switch over the board camera real quick?
I sure can.
So this is our Galaxy for 3 players.
Flip it on over. So this is the 4-player variant, and then...
It's a lot bigger. It's the 4 and 5 player.
4 and 5, but then there's also... You would block off certain areas if you're playing with...
Oh, why does the board look so bad?
The board looks terrible there. Not the board, our camera.
Yeah.
But so you can see that certain planets have a 5 next to them, so those are the planets that are going to be available during the 5. So during a 4, you'd cover those up with asteroids. So the game scales, so it prevents the timing from going really far up and spreading it all out too much.
Yeah.
But I definitely would say yes as well. I think it's fun. This game is fun. I really love pre-programming games. I like the individual player abilities. So those are 2 huge pluses for me. And then the fact that it plays in an hour or less is kind of a huge check mark for me, because there's a lot of times when there's games that I'm looking at, 4X games, kind of heavier Euro-style games, and I see that the playtime on it is...
like 3 hours.
3 hours, and I'm just
There's
no.
a reason why we don't play Euros on stream typically.
Yeah.
It's like...
Take your average playtime and double it.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, we're not streaming that for 6 hours.
Oh, yeah. You don't want to play Power Grid for 6 hours on stream?
No. But at the same... So this game makes itself super accessible by not only being really easy to pick up and learn, but being a manageable playtime.
No, we played the game on stream. I think the stream was about an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And that was with a real explanation and everything. So like it played like pretty much under an hour for us on stream, which is rare.
Yeah.
But there's also...
It plays very concise.
Very concise, and it actually plays very close to this how we stream.
Mm-hmm.
We turn by turn, we have to talk about what's happening.
Exactly. So there's not a lot of added extra time for that. So before we sign off for the day, Josh, is there anything else that you want to make another point on?
No, have fun.
All right.
Go back to this on... It comes to Kickstarter on Thursday. I think that's the 12th, right?
Ooh, you caught me there. I think today's the 9th,
Yeah.
so 10th, 11th, 12th. Yeah, it would be the 12th.
12th, and it's only running until the 20th.
So it's only an 8-day Kickstarter running Thursday to Thursday, so don't waste any
it's
time. I thought Julie said Thursday to Thursday before.
It's a 20-day? It's 20 days.
8-day.
I don't know.
Why are you saying 20? It's an 8-day Kickstarter.
8-day Kickstarter. So that's a week and a day. So it's Thursday to Friday.
Yeah.
Because math, and they're ending on 420 because I don't know if Julie realized that.
Okay. So, guys, definitely go check it out. It's going to be available on Kickstarter on Thursday. This was Helios Expanse by Greenbrier Games. We had a lot of fun showing it off. And if you haven't had the chance yet, go back and watch our Spotlight session where we did the playthrough, rules explanation, and a little interview with Julie from Greenbrier Games on video on demand. So other than that, thank you all for joining us. And finally, we would like to point out that this stream and all of this week's streams are brought to you by Helios Expanse by Greenbrier Games, as well as The Pirate's Flag,
which we'll be doing on Wednesday.
Yep, check it out on Wednesday. So for we'll talk about our schedule in just a minute.
Yep.
But signing off, I'm Matt.
I'm Josh.
And we are Twist Gaming. Good night, everyone.
Good night.